guiding the new crop of NIDA grads over the last 2 months, I'm teaching screen at NIDA, has been glorious. I have watched them develop and gain more screen craft specifically in the last 3 weeks than my NIDA year group did over their full 3 years back in 2010. The secret? They've been practicing being on set without actually being on set. So replicating the on-set processes and taking the time to slow down, make mistakes, and debrief afterwards. I've thrown them in the deep end, and they have quickly realized that what's most valuable in a self-tape format doesn't necessarily translate to what's most valued on set. I've adored watching their growth. One of my favorite moments has been our weekly Monday debriefs. We sit down, we analyze the footage, we identify the strengths, so what's working well, and we identify the most important areas of improvement. At the end of one class, a student asked me, "What are you seeing that's working well for us?" My answer, there's 3 key things. 1, when I see you focusing on breathing as yourselves, I see better work. 2, when I see you using the questions in the text to simply ask the person standing in front of you that question, I see better work. And 3, when I see you taking responsibility for the moment before, I absolutely am seeing better work. Let's discuss. So, breath. You are the most valuable currency you have in this industry, not who you think or feel you should be. And the key to getting good at giving yourself to the lens is to practice. Literally practice breathing in front of the lens. So much of generic acting training is about stretching young artists to their full light, so love, or their full darkness, fear, which results in plenty of pushed shouts and cries. And as we know, tension in the artist equals tension in the audience. It's icky. And more importantly, when you watch any performance that you love, those extremes of light and darkness usually only make up a tiny fraction, let's call it 2 to 5%, if that, of the protagonist's journey. The majority of the work which is required in order to get to those scenes where you release those extremes is made up of simply breathing, listening, and having honest conversations. So why is the majority of generic acting training focused on the tiny 2 to 5% of screencraft? That's a really important question. Why? It's damn more interesting to stand a kid up in class and make them cry in front of everyone than it is to practice breathing. But my focus is to make actors actually get better so they can give the most generous work they can when it counts most. And a pivotal moment, I think, in my own growth was when I realized I was trying to do incredibly complex things and trying to achieve gigantic results at a time when I couldn't even breathe as myself in front of the lens under pressure. It took a lot of effort to flip the equation around, to understand that professionals, do less better. Let's just clarify that. As a professional working artist, you won't get employed consistently to release those extremes of light and darkness until you are technically able to consistently breathe as yourself in front of the lens under pressure. So focus your training on getting great at what is actually most valuable. Yeah, breathing as you. Okay, next. Questions. Almost every scene you do will have a question in it at some point. Some text with a question mark after it. I can hear the great Kevin Jackson in my head right now. The writer is God. just over and over again. The writer is God. I see young artists treat question marks as if they are full stops, as if they are commas or ellipses. They are not. They are question marks. And they are there for a reason. It means one human being. I don't know why I'm getting so upset right now. KJ passed away recently. Okay, question marks. They mean that there is one human being who is standing in front of another human being, asking them for some information, which they don't know the answer to, right? Information which carries repercussions, information which can change their life. And I know this is something that is so simple, but this is one of those few things that I'm like, that's kind of like a cheat code in acting, right? A technical way of jumping back into the present. And a present actor is just bloody delicious to watch. Simply ask the person standing in front of you that question. That one action will take care of the majority of the work required in that moment. So when there is a question mark, ask the question. Okay, next. Moment before. At some point, hundreds of extras and crew will stop what they are doing. Everyone will look at you, and there will be silence. You will hear the words, "Final checks." The hair and costume department will scurry around you and start trying to make your hair and clothes look exactly like they were in the take before. Then when the checks are completed, the first AD will say, "Quiet on set." The camera and sound department will then confirm they're ready to go. Camera's rolling, speed, blah, blah, blah. Someone with a clapping board will then go between you and the lens and say a few words which will help the editor in several days, weeks, or months' time with the organization of this take and where it sits in the editing room. And then the director will say, "Action," or something along the lines of that. Yeah, what a time. The moment before you are to give your best work is filled with chaos. So much possibility for distraction, for head noise, fear, anxiety. This moment in time, in between final checks and action, roughly speaking, this is usually between, depending on the size of the set, let's just say somewhere between 10 and 60 seconds, right? This is your moment to focus. You have done all of that preparation. You have spent hours working on the scene. You have spent hours warming up. You have spent hours traveling to set, spent hours in hair and makeup, spent hours waiting in the trailer. It would be a shame to do all of that work, to then throw it all away because of the chaos that comes just before your take. Everyone else is getting paid to take ownership of their work. So take ownership of yours. Yeah, in those 10 to 60 seconds, what do you need to do to get where you need to get so you can give what you need to give? So you can contribute the work that you actually want to give to the tribe. Clarify for yourself the one or two most important things to do in that moment before. Clarify what you need to do to take care of in that time, so you can just simply release your work on cue. Remember, it is more valuable and sustainable for the camera to simply catch you living than it is for you to manufacture effort or boil up fake energy on the word action. So just make it easy for yourself. I'm really lazy. I love being lazy. Just try and make it easy for yourself. The goal is not pushed, controlled effort. The goal is free-flowing self-expression. Hope this helps.